Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with another Starcraft Remastered replay cast from the South Korean ladder, as we have a very interesting international engagement, as you can even see from the chat right here. We have spawning here at a almost 12 o'clock position in the green. It is ZELOT from South Korea, and his opponent here in the lower left in the yellow, it is actually DEWALT with his AK. So it's going to be Russia versus South Korea. Yes indeed, and even ZELOT acknowledged this, that this is of course DEWALT, his opponent. So very strong engagement we have here on the South Korean ladder, as two pro players from two different countries actually meet here up. DEWALT considered to be one of the best, if not the best, Russian player at Broodwar, and ZELOT considered to be one of the most aggressive Zerg player there is. So it should be a very strong and good game here in between the two pros, as he's opening up here with a pylon quite outside of his base, and luckily here a good scout from ZELOT straight towards the main from DEWALT. So a very interesting map actually. I don't know if it's a 4 or perhaps a 2 spawning location map. I will check the name of the map. And yeah, we do have the production tab of course here in the upper left part. ZELOT continues here with his spawning pool. There we have the second overload. More drones are getting produced, so this might be a 2 spawning location map, but I could be wrong, so sadly I don't have any information about that, as actually there's an open up with a forge. And right now DEWALT is actually sending out multiple scouts, so in the end it is very likely looking like a 4 spawning location map indeed. There's 2 scouts actually moving out here for the Russian player towards the base from ZELOT, and a very beautiful map as I see like a sun in the middle with some rays, looking very beautiful here, as finally the first probe reaches out for the first expansion point and goes here straight towards the main from the South Korean player. The other probe is returning back home, and more probes are actually getting produced. We see the forge has been finished. No cannon yet here for DEWALT, as one probe is returning back home, and we have yet another probe here to go for a expansion point right here. But a cannon, he will have minerals for a cannon very soon. So indeed it is a cannon for him. Very likely going to be continued with a wall off, with a gateway, as the probe is still staying around here, gathering as much information as he can here from the opponent, however also taking some damage here from the Zerging. So there we have the gas, quite a late gas of course, given the fact that there is an expansion here and yet another expansion here into this location. So DEWALT looks like he's going to be checking out all of the expansion points, however misses this one right here, as no, there is no wall off. If he could of course go with his probe towards the other expansion point, perhaps expecting an expansion here into this location, as the wall of continues here indeed with a gateway. And yeah, we have passed indeed the 3-minute mark. It should be very soon a tier 2 upgrade by the Zerg, but of course lots and lots of minerals have been invested into those expansions. So it's a very nice macro oriented this time game by ZELOT. Not decided to be early aggressive versus the opponent. Pretty much just going to try to surround this probe somehow in order to defend this location right here, in order to just keep DEWALT guessing what exactly the plans from ZELOT are. And of course this probe is really important. He really wants to make his way forward towards the main and towards the expansion, as there we have a Hydralisk then. So ZELOT might go for a timing push with some Zerglings, with some Hydralisk versus the expansion point here from DEWALT with his 20 workers versus the 15. So the probe is still roaming around. ZELOT still tries to deal more damage towards it, and finally DEWALT seems to be understanding what exactly the build order is from the opponent, as he's now moving straight forward towards the expansion point right here. And with that he will very likely immediately know what exactly the counter towards this could be. Of course he knows right now that his expansion is pretty much secured, given the fact that so many minerals have been invested here towards the expansion from the Zerg. He just wants to know right now if it's going to be a tier 2 upgrade or not. So the probe will very likely try to move here forward towards the main, where there is a Hydralisk. Then we see some Hydras getting produced, speed is getting produced, some Dragoons are also getting produced here for DEWALT, as we even might have another forge here for DEWALT. So quite an interesting build order. Double forge for him perhaps is going to be going very strong towards those upgrades. So yet another forge here, quite interesting. Perhaps a mistake by him, but I don't think so, given the fact that he's indeed a pro player. Perhaps he's going to try for another for another upgrade here towards the other forge. Very interesting build order indeed, as we see more gateways getting added here by him. No stargates for him, so no intentions to go for some corsairs to harass the overlords in the air from the opponent, as we do indeed have the first Hydralisk here out for Zealot, and more actually getting produced. So like I told you, it could be a timing push very soon happening, as a small group of Zealots with some Dragoons are moving out here for him. In the meantime, more buildings getting produced. We actually see the Citadel of Dune, of course, for the speed for the Zealots. And let's just see this forge right here, still not upgrading. So perhaps it's a forge behind, not to show the upgrade, or perhaps he thinks that the Zerg wants to cancel this one upgrade. So this could of course be a option, given the fact that this forge right here is pretty much exposed. So now I finally understand why DEWALT made a forge at home, in order to secure his upgrades here, as one Hydralisk is getting snapped, and the Hydras are really strong versus the buildings here from the Protoss. Look at how fast they can attack and melt those buildings, of course forcing now DEWALT to go into more cannons. It already has 3, there's a Dragoon behind. Gateways have been built here at home, but there's also many Hydralisk here and some Zergins, and now he finally has to fight. But at the same time he's going to try, of course, to lure the Hydralisk towards the cannons. With that, Zealot actually taking more and more damage, and the upgrade continues here. So finally now I do understand why a forge has been placed here, a second forge has been placed. DEWALT nicely calculating, of course, the fact that it's going to be a timing push by the Zerg, sacrificing the gateway and the forge here in order to have it more secured at home, and more is actually getting launched here forward. The economy is looking really strong for DEWALT, but there's so much more masses here for the Zerg. So I believe the Zerg is just lacking a couple of Zerglings in the front, but there's also many cannons getting produced here by DEWALT, so it looks like going to be able to hold, unless the Zerg decides to snap the pylon right here. But there's a second pylon here into this location, and many more Zealots are moving here forward. So quite an intense situation here. Let's have a look into the main from the Zerg. There's the tier 2 upgrade, still no movement here, and the other units are still producing here. Many more macro hatcheries here getting produced by the Zerg as well. Check the Protoss very quick. Like he's going into more gateway units and pylons. So very soon he might try to push out here, as speed for the Zealots is about to get finished. We also have the High Templar Storm and lots and lots of High Templars getting added here. So of course, against sheer masses of Hydralisk, the High Templars will of course be the perfect counter towards them, as some Dragoon is just in the Overlord right here. So pretty much now the way is shut by Zealot. Very nicely done here with his Hydralisk, and speed of course have been done for the Zealots. We also have weapons 1 as we go into armor 1 here for DEWALT. So this forge in the back, very smart decision here by the Russian player, but he's still blocked here. The entrance is pretty much blocked here, as more units are getting produced here for both players. And a nice situation here, as the Dragoon actually taking some damage from the high ground Hydralisk. Yeah, let's just check the Zerg once again into his main. More Hydralisks are actually produced, and those hatcheries right here pretty much far away from the Protoss main. Perhaps this location right here would have been better, just to give him a little bit of a timing advantage here towards reaching the base here from the Protoss. And there we have the first storm. So right now Zealot pretty much knows exactly what is happening. Even the Overlord has been sniped, giving the Zerg being now supply block. We have a transition into some lurkers, but looks like DEWALT is going to move here forward with some storms, with some Zealots in the front. Either that, or he's going to try to pretty much bypass this. So very sneaky and interesting move here, pretty much ignoring all of those Hydralisk, and he's just moving straight forward towards perhaps the newly established base right here. Perhaps right here. Not that many defenses, no sunkens here for the Zerg player, as this pretty much looks like a suicide mission for all of those Zealots. So very interesting idea. Once again, splitting his troops. Very smart move by the Russian player. However, he's taking more and more damage. There were some Hydralisk here ready to engage, and he's actually going straight towards the economy. So 41 workers here for Zealot. Even the drones have to fight now. One Zealot has been sniped, one drone here as well. Like I told you, pretty much a suicide mission. In the end, 2 drones have been sniped. The other group of Zealots are being retreated. But with that, I believe DEWALT just bought himself some time for more important units, for more gateways at home. His economy is looking better. than the opponent, and with that he's just still roaming around here with his zealots against the newly established base. Even perhaps he's able to snipe this location right here, as there is a hatchery getting finished, but zealot also reacting immediately, so DEWALT has to hurry up. There it is, there's finally the move forward, getting a good surround against this one hatchery, but the Hydrisk will be ready to engage. And yeah, DEWALT very smartly here, just buying more and more time, sacrificing of course those zealots, but in the end now he's very likely going to transition into some other units. We even saw a shuttle getting produced, more cannons are getting produced, as the way is just pretty much shut here, but the shuttle gameplay can be quite deadly now versus the Zerg, as so many units are gathered here in the front. He could just pretty much counter, and there we actually do see a move out by the shuttle into this location with one Dark Templar. So just see what the Dark Templar is about to get, is about to do here. And actually there are no overloads here into the mains from Zealot, so quite a little bit of a mistake by him, but of course it happens even if into the pro scenes there are the overloads here. There's the incoming shuttle, so very smart move by DEWALT, and this might be even a winning move, as so many drones could be sniped here. Just needs to drop that height, the Dark Templar, wasting a little bit of time here, but that's okay. And in comes the move, and there's still no overloads here, just a couple of Hydrisks. So with that, this Dark Templar is going to have pretty much a great time. I believe speed for the overload has not been done, and yeah, with that all of a sudden more and more drones are getting dropped here. Finally there's the reaction, speed is actually getting done, but this Dark Templar already having so many kills, 6 kills, quite a nice move by him. In the end it's going to be a sacrificial unit. He needs to be careful not to lose this shuttle right here. A great move indeed, as at the same time he's actually moving out here from his base with storms, with dragoons in the back, with some zealots. Not all of the units here from DEWALT are engaging. A great spread here by zealot with all of those lurkers, but the economic damage has pretty much been done, and the shuttle is still ready there to engage, as now the dragoons with the high temper storms will pretty much be able to bypass this, and he just needs to be careful not to storm his own overlords, sorry, his own observers here, as finally DEWALT has freed himself from the claws of the Zerg here, and he was able to move out. But still so many bases ready here for Zealot. Let's just have a look how the game is going to continue. I saw so many more units are getting produced, and a surprise here from DEWALT as he actually decides to go towards a Dark Archon. And let's just see what exactly this Archon can do versus all of those Hydras. Maelstrom of course is going to be a very important spell to have. However, I still believe that High Templar Storms are much better here than this Archon, and of course the real Archon, the White Archon, is going to be also very strong versus so many Hydras here onto the map. But yeah, it's just still pretty much mass Hydras here for the Zerg. Let's have a look at these upgrades. One spine upgrades for him, and more masses of Hydras are actually getting produced here. So pretty much all what DEWALT has to do is just pretty much mass High Templars, and I believe he should be okay. The supply is pretty much the same here for both players. Good patrol here by DEWALT. Just looking around if there's some, but hold on, actually a great Maelstrom here all of a sudden, and all of those overloads with the Hydras, they're pretty much blocked here. So DEWALT once again with a very smart move. He was pretty much expecting, I believe, a drop. He knows the map very well, and with that pretty much taking out an important supply here from the Zerg. At the same time another counterattack here by Zealot, but DEWALT seems to be ready for that. So what a great move by him. Now I finally understand why he went for the red Archon, as Maelstrom just pretty much blocked the entrance there, pretty much blocked the drop. And we hold on, we do have more and more Hydras moving here forward, but this could be really great with some High Templar Storms. DEWALT should be able to hold this. That's exactly what's happening. Very hard to out micro out of the storm here, so very good stuff here by the Russian player, as more and more is getting thrown here towards him. It's still a small choke point here that is working in favor for DEWALT, as he's able to take out so many Hydras here, and all of a sudden the Hydras, the Zerg actually dropping below 81 of a supply. So now finally I understand why he did this. He even had an observer right here. Very good anticipation by him. All of those dragoons were massed up here, and the red Archon also ready to cast his Maelstrom. With the High Templars, of course, it would have been a little bit harder to target those overlords, and now it seems that DEWALT pretty much has the upper hand. However, some Hydras will be morphed into some lurkers very soon. And there we have once again the movement out with the red Archon, with the Dark Archon here. Very nice looking here in red for DEWALT. as the game continues here. Some great storms are being casted here, left and right. A very nice picture here, and even more beautiful here with the red Archon in the back. Perhaps he's going to have some mana soon to cast some more spells, as the High Templars are pretty much in the front now, leading the storm towards the expansion point from the Zerg player. And all of a sudden, the middle of the map pretty much in control here for the for the Russian player. And there we have the GG. So what a great move here indeed it was by DEWALT, with a nice winning move here, pretty much anticipating an attack. And let's not forget the forge move by him, knowing, so a great experience here by the Russian player, knowing that it would be a timing push, and with that saving 2 important upgrades for his Dragoons. Let's have a look. 1-1 indeed for him. And yeah, very nice to see a red Archon once again. I'm going to take a screenshot here. Very great stuff by the Russian player. Let's just check the stats very quick, just in case you guys are interested, as I'm going to be clicking left and right here. Quite a low APM here for DEWALT, but a very smart and intelligent gameplay here by him. Sadly for him, his mass high risk tactics with some lurkers didn't work out. However, that drop could have been really deadly with 12 high risk into the main production buildings here by DEWALT, but DEWALT nicely expecting that attack, and with that, with a great defensive and a great patient gameplay here by the Russian player, he was able to secure the game. And also very rare sight to see the Dark Archon. Let's not also forget the drop with the 1 invisible unit, the Dark Templar, sniping 6 drones. So also a very important move here by the Russian player. All in all, a very good game, a very interesting international gameplay here. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Tommy signing out.